Good evening, YouTube Live. Glad to see you on this Wednesday. What was Wednesday? What is now Thursday, November 24th, 2022. I'm glad to see you, and I'm grateful to be here. Today is the birthday. I happen to start this on the birthday of Marlon James. So shout out to Marlon James, the amazing novelist of now four going on five novels. Congratulations, Marlon, on your upcoming novel. I just finished Moon Witch Spider King. I encourage everyone to go read that novel. Um, After watching the film Wakanda Forever, it brought me back to Todd Steven Burroughs' book, and I encourage everybody listening to this YouTube, go read Marvel's Black Panther because he puts the Black Panther film that is now popular, that is now Hollywood, uh, part of the Hollywood industry. He puts it into the context of, excuse me, how Stan Lee wrote the T'Challa character and how from Stan Lee, then it was um, Reginald Hudlin. Then after Reginald Hudlin, it was Ta-Nehisi Coates. And I like how Todd really puts everything in a greater context about what the writer's themes were. And I especially appreciated his last chapter dealing with the theme of Black nationalism, how Ta-Nehisi Coates, in particular, with writing the Black Panther comic series, not the film, but how he wrote the comic series and how um, Ta-Nehisi Coates dealt with the theme of Black nationalism, comparing the theme in his writing for the Black Panther comic with Ta-Nehisi's own writing Between the World and Me. So check out Marvel's Black Panther. I wanted to look at a particular part of, I believe, his later chapters. It's about 11 or 10 chapters in Burroughs's book. And this particular part spoke to me because I had to remember or remind myself when this was written. This book was written by Todd Steven Burroughs in 2018. It was written in 2018. And it seems almost prophetic what um, to the stories and the events of the actual Hollywood Black Panther film, what Burroughs writes. It seems almost prophetic. Burroughs writes here, from the moment that Reginald Hudlin introduced her in his Black Panther #1, it was made clear that Shuri, the sister of T'Challa, was going to be a major character. Under her creator, she grew from T'Challa's jealous little sister to a reluctant warrior to fierce fighter. She was a part of the book for Hudlin's entire run and became a mainstay of subplots. But now, Burroughs writes, the Panther title had been rebooted, making her the star. A Black woman, an African, now had her own ongoing Marvel comic book title, albeit briefly for the first time. The Black Panther, a major Black male superhero, was female. And who would have known that after writing this book, Burroughs writes this book, that Chadwick Boseman would pass away, who performed T'Challa in the Hollywood film. And this would be the opportunity for that character to absolutely shine in the Black Panther film. Shuri. And Shuri has quite a big storyline at the end of Wakanda Forever. She is on a beach and she is told of T'Challa's son, who is also named T'Challa. Uh, okay, Letitia Wright. Letitia, I wanted to make sure she was born in Guyana. Scorpio, as we leave Scorpio season, heading into Sagittarius season, the virtue of Sagittarius is wisdom, the application of knowledge. It's one thing to have knowledge, be transformed into one bearing knowledge, but how do you apply that knowledge? That's wisdom. And her character, Letitia's character in Shuri, definitely deals with that. When the nation of Wakanda has to deal with whether to join the water indigenous nation. So shout out to Todd Stephen Burroughs for writing this incredible book. Marvel's Black Panther, and putting it in greater context, reminding everybody that Black Panther is the creative intellectual property of the Marvel Comics series. Read his book because he puts it in greater context, and the way that he talks about Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black nationalism is the way that Coates challenges, questions nationalism in the comic book series. So check out Marvel's Black Panther. Over the past week, I was grateful to finish Kei Miller's amazing novel Augustown, set in 1982, but really dealing with, the incredible impact that one Alexander Bedward had in Jamaica in 1930s. It deals with a young schoolboy whose locks were cut off, and you learn about everybody involved in that little boy Kaya's life, from his mother, first from his grandmother, who knew personally and could tell Kaya personally about who Alexander Bedward is after she hears Kaya repeat a um, childhood story or a school song that Kaya learns in school that ultimately ridicules Alexander Bedward. And once Kaya's grandmother, Ma Taffy, hears um, Kaya, her grandson, say this song that ridicules Bedward, she chooses to educate him on who Bedward is. And we learn about his grandmother, we learn about the grandmother's neighbors, we learn about uh, so many people connected to Kai. We learn about his mother, we learn about his school principal. What a compelling story that Kei Miller has written, about who Alexander Bedward is, who Bedwardites are, and his impact, and the relationship between Bedward and the beginning of the Rastafari religion. I think this novel, more than anything, more than any other novel I've read, explains why people become Rasta, explains the historical significance of the Rastafarian religion. So I told as much friends as I could as soon as I finished it earlier this week, to read this. Check this novel out. It's one of the best novels that was a page turner for me. Many novels are not page turners for me, but Kei Miller's novel was an absolute page turner. I wanted to look at one particular part of this novel. I was looking for the physical. Here it is. Here's a physical copy of Marvel's Black Panther, which I encourage you to read, by Todd Steven Burroughs. And that excerpt was from a particular chapter, but it's so prophetic to the actual the real life experience of T'Challa, of the actor who played T'Challa, and how the focus of the series turned to his sister, and the role of his sister. This particular piece of Augustown that I would like to read is at the end of chapter 12, page 128. And the narrator up to this point is talking about Ian and Clarky. And I made sure I texted my friend the way that Kei Miller wrote this particular scene throughout the whole 200 plus page of the 200 plus page novel. The way that Kei Miller wrote this particular scene made me proud to be a man, made me proud to come from Jamaica with the kind of dignity that he wrote the character. So I thank Kei Miller for what clearly intensely researched novel, and the dialect and the characterization. Um, it assumes the absolute dignity. So this particular part, he's talking about Clarky, brother Clarky. And this is the narrator talking about what's happened to Clarky after he came from the police station after being beaten, humiliated by the Jamaican police. He stepped into the yard to find Sister Gilzine. This is not Clarky, this is Ian, the fellow vendor that works with Clarky. The narrator says, Ian stepped into the yard to find Sister Gilzine whispering, Sass Christ, Jesus Christ, and Ma Taffy's three nieces sobbing. Ma Taffy herself was just standing there silent and stoic, and he wondered why they were all behaving like this when Clarky was just standing there, without his dreadlocks and spinning. Why was he spinning? And then the boy saw the rope. He ran back inside for one of Clarke's knives and returned to slash the rope. Clarke's lifeless body slumped into his arms, throwing him to the floor. He held onto the body of his friend for what felt like hours. After that, Ian Moody turned fully to Rastafari. What else could he have done? What other offering could he have given to his friend but his life? He joined the Bobo Shanties and moved into Armageddon Yard, a fenced off compound that sat on top of Dread Heights. He now calls himself Bongo Moody, and he is a man who walks around with the weight of it, with the weight of the body that had fallen into his arms. He feels he is always carrying it with him. Clarky, that is the name, that is the shape of Bongo Moody's hurt. And so the day of the auto collapse has come like a finger scratching at the scab of himself and exposing his deepest wound. So this is the first time in fiction form that I understood why people become Rasta. I learned about it in grad school. That's when I was introduced to it, not in undergrad, not in high school, not in middle school. People born around the time I was born and don't learn about that religion in, especially if it's a public school like I went to, until you consciously seek out that information. So thank you, Kei Miller, for putting the Rastafari religion in its context, in its proper context, and showing that it's a valid religion and that there's a logical, personal, experiential, emotional reason why people chose to become Rasta. Amazing novel. Read Augustown. I highly recommend it. If you're appreciating this 25th YouTube, what is now my 25th YouTube live, don't hesitate to support me through my Cash App, which is $Rome Fraser. And please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't hesitate also to comment right now. I haven't really had a comment. Please don't hesitate to comment now. My beautiful, adorable, she don't really like for me to touch her, but she's so irresistible. She's sitting here next to me while I'm doing my YouTube live. My beautiful, kitten Miracle. Well, she was running up and down, but now she's settled down. I told her, please settle down while I do this live, and gratefully, she's obliged me. Um, okay, wow. I wanted to acknowledge also an amazing artist who earned an honorary Oscar, and I'm so grateful she did. She was the first Black female director to really make a lot of moves in Hollywood, and she is Euzhan Palcy. I remember I came across her film when I was in college before there were English subtitles for it, and I sought out who it was in a. It was at Yale. When I was at Yale, I remember when you take a foreign language, you have to go to what they call the language lab, and you have to log in certain hours in the language lab. You have to like sit and just listen to whatever language you're learning and just practice the pronunciation. And one of the things, this is the first time I saw her film. I was like, what film is this? I want to take this class that would show this film because it was a sugar plantation and I knew it was where my parents, you know, not all, mainly my dad's side were laborers in the sugarcane fields. And I was like, how do I see this film? And I didn't stop until I found the film. And then I saw it for myself. And then I understood it more clearly with the English subtitles that I was able to get. And that film was Sugarcane Alley. And I saw that film once, twice, three, four, five, six, seven, over seven times. I taught the film when I taught Caribbean history. Thank you. She's sending me her energy, her loving energy, my little miracle. That's why I called her Miracle. Um, and I taught Euzhan Palcy's film, uh, Sugarcane Alley. Here is the image of it. When I taught Caribbean culture at Temple University in the spring 2010 semester, and I was at Rider University teaching Caribbean history there, and I also taught this film there. It's an amazing film that shows the experience of one young boy coming from the sugarcane fields, right? Where he grows up, gets the education, and follows through with his grandmother who raises him, Martine, to earn a scholarship in Martinique to go to France. It's a story akin to the experience of Frantz Fanon, born and raised in Martinique, who would become a soldier for the French army in World War II. But this story takes place a decade earlier, I want to say, than Frantz Fanon's story. And it's based on an actual novelist, Joseph Zobel, who was born in Martinique. And what I teach in the Caribbean class is a translation of Joseph Zobel's original French, because he originally wrote it in French. And Keith Q. Warner translated Zobel's original French to English. And I teach the English version, which is called Black Shack Alley. Let me tell you, what an incredible adaptation Euzhan Palcy did. I usually don't like film adaptations because they miss the most important parts, but not only did Euzhan Palcy not miss the important parts, but she added certain elements. She added certain elements to the story that was definitely worth noticing. And one of the elements she added is the main character is Jose in this film. And Jose's friend Jojo, Jose is dark skinned, but Jose is the main character. He's a dark skin, but his friend Jojo is mulatto. And the way that Eugene Palsy adapted Zobel's story is that Jojo finds out um, when his white father from a black mother is not going to leave him an inheritance, and he chooses to um, help set the canes afire in a way, kind of casting his lot with the darker skinned group. Because, in the Caribbean, in Martinique and Jamaica and Haiti, there's always that class color distinction, but it's along those three same lines of white, mulatto, and black, right? And so Jojo is mulatto. He has the opportunity to live a life of a white person. But when he finds out, the way Eugene Palsy's screenplay works is that he more or less helps Jojo elevate his status, going from black, and he takes the punishment. So Eugene Palsy shows the possibility of the mulatto class working with the black class against the white class. You know, um, the caste system. So she shows a very unique and takes interesting creative liberties, but the sound of the work, the sound that she creates really recreates in my mind Jamaica, the crickets, the sound of the people, the drums, the songs the people sing. And so instead of talking about it, I want to play a scene, a very memorable scene from Sugarcane Alley. All right. I'm so glad that I was able to share that. Uh, and that was a scene from Sugarcane Alley. And congratulations to Euzhan Palsy on her honorary Oscar. Check out her film, Sugarcane Alley. Congratulations to her on this honorary Oscar. She's done an amazing body of work. Check out Kei Miller's novel, Augustown. Um, enjoy Thanksgiving. For me, Thanksgiving is always a happy time because it's the opportunity to be around loving family and friends that you haven't seen that are intentionally coming together to reunite, to get to know each other. So it's not stressful, it's peace. So enjoy that peace with your family. God bless. Thank you for watching my YouTube live. My Cash App is $Roan Fraser. Subscribe, like, and share.